Hello and welcome to the Blue Shadow Podcast. My name is Joey.
I am Dan.
And today we're going to do another episode of our monthly update. This is actually our second time doing this,
Yes.
where we are, catching up with one another on what we're watching, reading, playing, listening to, whatever we want to talk about that's kind of consuming our life right now in a fun and healthy way, preferably.
Yes.
Want to open up with you, Dan, and say, what have you been watching? Movies, TV?
So I haven't really been watching a lot of things, but I am starting because if you've been listening, you've heard that I got a new job and my schedule changed. So I have a little bit more free time.
He did abandon me, but it's okay. I'm very proud of him.
I'm proud. I jumped ship.
I want to come with, but...
So I started a new series, Abbott Elementary. I
want to watch it. I've heard that's
nothing
so good.
Nothing but good things. First episode was hilarious. So if you don't know the premise, it's about public school in Philadelphia,
of course.
Abbott Elementary. Why, of course, Joey.
I didn't know it was in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
Dan loves Philadelphia.
I'm from the area.
It's true.
So it's nice catching some of the little references that they'll just drop. Similar to It's Always Sunny in that sense, where it's not overt, but they'll say something, you're like, I know what you're talking about. So that's been very good so far, much like Parks and Rec or The Office, sort of like cutaway documentary style.
I haven't been a new one of those in a while, so
And
I'm excited to give this one a go.
yeah, so the premise is that they're filming a documentary. Let's see, and then I actually watched a movie last night for the first time in a while. Just sat down, banged one out.
Which one's that?
A24's Civil War.
I'm not familiar.
I don't think it's a movie.
It's not a Joey movie.
No.
Dan loves history. I imagine it's historically related.
No, it's a dystopian.
I'm Googling this.
So
describe it while I look up a picture.
So Nick Offerman's in it. He plays the president.
Okay.
It's not a Joey movie.
It's
Not something. Anyway, it's about the Civil War and there's succession in the United States. And the movie actually follows a group of photojournalists who are making their way to Washington to interview the president and it kind of follows some of the stuff that they're encountering. It's a really good movie. It's very dark. A lot of graphic stuff in it. Stars Kirsten Dunst.
Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, she's very good in it.
Not for me.
Not for you.
I just looked up some pictures, and I can say it probably.
Well, that is the point. They are photojournalists documenting the Civil War going on in America.
Sounds depressing.
I really wasn't depressed watching it. It was more of like a holy crap, but very good. So
yeah,
we're actually having a movie circle on Monday at work.
I don't have one of those.
No,
I need to call Dan if I want to have a movie circle.
Yeah, so that's what I've been watching. How about you? What have you been watching?
Last month, I talked about my wife and I are rewatching Psych. Again, it's a comedy-ish show that was on USA from about like 2006, 5-ish to like 2012 or 13. We both actually loved it independently in high school, and we're just getting through. We're almost in the last season, which is really exciting. And it just kind of brings back a lot of nice memories, and it's funnier than I remember even still. And I remember I told you like last month, I'm so relieved that like one of my favorite shows from a while ago is as good, if not better, than I remember it. And like I get more things now and understand, references and stuff that I didn't before. So it's only grown better in my opinion. And I would strongly recommend it to anyone.
What's it on?
Technically Peacock. It was on USA back in the day, but
cool.
You can have my Peacock password.
I might need to bum a Peacock.
You can have my Peacock password. And I have not been watching any movies, but we are technically recording this on November 2nd, and I am, in fact, a Christmas lover. And I asked my wife if we could decorate for Christmas today, or yesterday, which would have been November 1st, and she said no.
Good. So, not to interject, I am very much a proponent of Thanksgiving as its own holiday and Christmas should not be leaching into Thanksgiving.
What I've tried to tell Dan for years, and I don't think he agrees with me at all, and that's totally fine, is that you celebrate Christmas from November 1st to whenever Thanksgiving is, you take a brief pause. Maybe even Wild Turkey Wednesday, you pause. And then you do your Thanksgiving festivities, and then you turn Christmas from like 8 to 11 after you're done with Thanksgiving.
I really thought there'd be a bigger jump. Are we on a scale of 1 to 100 or 1 to 10?
1 to 10. If we're 1 to 100, you turn it from like 80 to a million infinity. I love Christmas.
I do too, but I also love Thanksgiving.
They're not mutually exclusive. Anyway, that leads me to say, I the past few years, I've not been so good with watching Christmas movies or, watching Christmassy themed TV shows like Hawkeye or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do a little bit more of that this year. So I will hopefully be jumping into that soon, if not a little premature, but who cares? That takes us to the end of what we're watching. What are you playing, Dan?
Oh, got me. Switched it up on me. I was looking.
No, wait. Let's. It's what are we watching, reading, and playing? Why don't you tell us what we're reading?
That's what I was actually looking up. I was listening. I'm listening to an audiobook, and I cannot remember the name.
That's a great sign.
It's called. Well, I listened to it at work. I was listening to it on my drive today. It's called Girl Alone, and it is a suspense thriller. It follows a. Have you ever seen like the Jack Ryan, with John Krasinski?
Yes, I have.
Where it's like an analyst gets pulled into the field. Very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So it follows this FBI agent named Ella who works as an intelligence analyst who gets pulled into the field. And long story short, without giving away any information, they are looking to stop a serial killer. So it's following her with her own past trauma and then dealing with the struggles of joining the field. She's paired with a very experienced agent. And so those kind of struggles. The book
Sounds really interesting.
It is, and it's actually free on Apple Books. It is written by Blake Pierce. Set in Louisiana.
How far in are you?
Ooh, on chapter 22. I think it's 17 hours in.
Not bad. Would you recommend it so far?
If you like that style, it is a tad predictable. However, it is very good, very well written. The action, if there is any, is very well written, potentially. Who knows?
Only you.
But yes, it is free on Apple Books. I'm really enjoying it. I actually was listening to it on my way over here today to the studio, also known as Joey's house. So I actually paused it at a very good part. So
I apologize.
I know what I'll be listening to on the way home. How about you? Have you been reading anything?
If you listen to this forever, we've been talking about this. I've been very slowly chugging through a really, really good High Republic Star Wars book called Into the Dark. It's the third book in the High Republic. And I've not gotten much farther than the last time we talked about it. I'm going to use this as a sign. So whenever we do this for December, which will be in about a month, I will have this book finished. I'm pinky promising Dan right now.
Hold you to it.
We pinky promised. I'm going to have to finish this book. I don't know why. I've been very distracted with some other things that we're going to talk about in the next section that I'm very excited to talk about. So, Into the Dark, it's good. I just need to get through it.
If you don't, we'll have like a punishment, like a fantasy football style punishment.
Maybe I have to like chug an entire XL Dunkin' latte.
I think you'd explode.
Probably.
I was gonna make it Star Wars themed somehow.
I can do that. I have to disassemble one of my Lego sets and build it blindfolded.
No, I thought of something really mean. You have to go and write all the bad things about Rey that you think there are.
That's real easy.
And you have to write 10.
Well, that's not easy. I was going to say it's easy because there are none.
I know. That's why I said it.
This is rude, and I'm motivated now more than ever. You can choose if I don't do it. So
Also,
you can stew on it.
I know. And we were talking about fantasy football punishments, and I had a really good one at work that I came up with the other day, and I forget what it is.
It's a good thing we didn't implement it because Dan's towards the bottom of our fantasy football punishment. What? Dan's at the bottom of our fantasy football league.
I've been on a tear.
I lost this last week, but
I didn't. I'm moving up. I went from
12. I lost by 2 points.
Oh, I won by 40.
Oh my god.
I forget what it was. Oh, the loser has to give a week by week presentation at the end of the season of why they have to do a game breakdown each game.
That's really entertaining.
And be like, why did you suck at fantasy football? And you have to present it to the league.
I think we should implement this.
I think it's not really mean.
It's just mildly entertaining.
It is. And then you can, if you're really into it, you could be like, somebody's ACL is tissue paper.
I am doing relatively well, and I still could complain about some people's injuries.
I'm climbing. I think
this is not a football podcast at all, and I don't know nearly as much about football as Dan.
This is a former work league that I was part of.
It worked for me, but I have Puka Nacua, the Rams receiver. He just came back after weeks of not playing, and he got hurt at practice.
Oh.
He did fantastic last week. He's supposed to play this week still, but he got hurt at practice.
Take my sympathies as a Christian McCaffrey owner.
I tried to trade for you. Anyway.
Oh, I pulled off a sweet trade the other day, though.
Yes, collusion with your girlfriend.
No,
anyway.
It wasn't collusion.
It was collusion.
It was proposed to me.
That doesn't make it not collusion. Anyway, going on to our next section. What are we playing? What video games have you been playing?
So it is the first week of November. And if you've been following, that typically means the new Call of Duty released. And that's what I've been playing.
What do we think?
It's been pretty good so far. I haven't played the campaign. I've mostly been playing zombies.
I was going to ask about the campaign because I know people have been made fun of how short they have been recently.
This one's apparently very good.
I've enjoyed any Call of Duty campaign I've played. I have enjoyed.
So
I'm not a Call of Duty person.
The little what's the word? Faux pas, I guess, that's been going on is the last game that was made, Modern Warfare 2, was supposed to be a 2-year game. Everything about it was supposed to be 2 years. They said it from the start, like, we are going to do 2 years, because it usually switches off between developers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, we'll do it 2 years, one game, we'll really put a lot into it, and the other developer's like, great, we'll put all of our time into this other game that we've been working on, which is now out. But then the Modern Warfare 2, year one's coming up about 3/4 of the way through. They're like, we're actually making a second game. So they threw together a really reskinned game. It's the same thing with a really short campaign that was very, very... I didn't buy it. It's just what I've heard online.
Mm.
So that's been some of it.
That's kind of my... I'm a very, if you've listened to us at all, a very much so single-player, story-oriented game. And I think what frustrates me is when it's like a kind of a game mill, that it feels like that. And it's like the only game people play, which is fine. It's like any game you're playing that you're enjoying is great. But for me, I like to feel a little more special. But I have seen that this one is a little more...
Yeah. It's
well-baked.
Yes, and again, I mostly been playing zombies.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of revamped it. So you're in a town is the one map.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of just have to go around the town instead of just one building.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's pretty close in West Virginia.
A real town?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, can we go? It'd be kind of
You'd
fun.
have to get the game.
Well.
But speaking of getting the game, what have you been playing? I know you've been...
So if you are watching this relatively recently when it's released, I just released a review of Astro, which is what I've been playing. Oh my goodness. I loved Astro's Playroom. I'm not going to spoil the whole video that I just did, but I loved Astro's Playroom, the little free like pack-in game that came with the PS5. Mm-hmm. But this was like that on crack. It was so good. There were so many levels, so many unique mechanics, and the references to all the PlayStation, like, and not even just PlayStation, but just video game in general characters was like magical.
Oh, that's exciting.
Still fantastic DualSense, like the use of the controller, and the battery wasn't bad this time. I think they've some sort of thing fixed it, so I didn't have to charge it that often. Like the first one drained your game, but oh my goodness, it was just so fun. And I have not had that just like much raw fun with a video game in a very long time.
That's really
even like the games that I played this year that I absolutely loved. I think Final Fantasy VII is probably going to be my game of the year, but it's just it was fun. It was fantastic. There are like lighthearted moments, but just to have a whole game that was just like optimistically fun the whole time was very nice.
Yeah, that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
I would highly recommend it to anyone.
Yeah. Nobody cares what you're playing, is it, like you said, as long as you're having fun with it.
It's true. Much like what you're watching and reading as well. I did want to say one other thing. This month I beat Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, nice.
I liked it a lot. I really liked the open world and exploration stuff more than the story. I was initially planning on doing a story, like I did an initial review of like the game, like the gameplay, the open world stuff, and I loved that aspect of it. But the story for me, it was really good, especially the ending was really good, but it didn't move me enough to want to like make a video. So if you've seen like, I've been talking to a few different people about it and they've said, oh, I heard that game sucks. So I think people like to say that in general. We've talked about
it's Star Wars.
Exactly. We've talked about mindless negativity before. It's not good, not healthy for you, not healthy for the people you talk to. But it's the story is not the strength of the game. The strength of the game is the open world and exploration and just being and living in that galaxy. So I did beat Astrobot. So as you can tell, because I released a spoilerish review, but I want to go back and play more Outlaws and like get back into the world, which is for me the most exciting part of it.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
I wanted to throw out Marvel Snap because we both play it, but we don't have to talk about it too much. We talk about it every time.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Yes.
we've been on a downturn with it. And I did want to say, I think I might have mentioned it last time, but one of my favorite musical artists, Andy Grammer, released an album and just did a deluxe edition of that album. And I actually got to see him in concert between when the album came out and when we're recording this. So that's exciting too.
I thought you were going to link that to Marvel Snap somehow.
Andy Grammer does not connect.
I was very excited. I'm like, oh, Andy Grammer, Marvel Snap?
No, not as far as I'm concerned anyway. I mean, that would be quite the collaboration.
It'll happen.
Maybe. Anyway, you have anything else to add?
Ooh. No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, with that, we hope you enjoyed listening to us catch up with what we're watching, reading, playing, and listening to these days. Let us know what you're doing and what you think we should look at. Is there something you want to hear us talk about or have us look at? We'd love to hear from you.
Is there something you'd want us to play, watch? Yeah.
I would love to. I want to play Black Myth Wukong as well. That's a new video game that I really want to play. I'll let you know if we do. With that, we hope that you enjoyed. And we'll see you in December for the next monthly update. But with that, thank you again for listening. Please consider giving us a subscription, leaving us a review on YouTube or the podcast platform of your choice. Consider giving us a follow on Twitter or X at Blue Shadow Pod or on Instagram at Blue Shadow Podcast. Thank you again for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.